All right, we're back with another phone-produced video. Still waiting on taxes so I can get a proper video gaming editing PC. But hopefully that will be in the next few days that I'll be able to embark on that endeavor. So for now, as seems to be the case recently, you cannot swing a dead fruit waddle without hitting a new Kickstarter that was started by Steve Jackson Games, and we have two here. The first one, the major one, is Pocket Box Games of the 80s, and this is a project where Steve Jackson Games, they did a retooling of the plastic pocket box idea from the 80s for the reissue of Melee on the Fantasy Trip Kickstarter project, and now they are expanding it as per their website, or their Kickstarter basically said they kept looking through their back catalog and there was one format they wanted to do, or it kept popping up as an idea, and that was the pocket box. Now, as a part of, so they worked with GPI, who are the people that have been doing all their production for their games, as I recall. And they have scanned a series of games from the original set of Pocket Box games and sent it to GPI and retooled it. And they're going to go ahead. That's what this Kickstarter is. So, for the Kickstarter, basically you find a pledge level, and it's starting off at one game and working your way up to, I believe, 8 games total that you can get. And the game's available, and you get to choose which one of these that you want in whatever combination. And the games are Illuminati, Ogre, G.E.V, Battlesuit, Car Wars, the Car Wars expansion Truck Stop, and the other Car Wars expansion Crash City, which originally came out as Sunday Drivers, but apparently there was some sort of conflict there via copyright. The stretch goals, they are funded. They've reached 50,000, I believe. And the stretch goals are at 55K. There will be the Car Wars expansion set number 1, which will be added to the $200 backer level for free. And I'm assuming that that will be available for purchase as an add-on as well for a lower backing level. At 60K, each game that you get will have one die thrown on in. At 65K, they are going to unlock and reprint Undead, game based on Dracula. It's a board game for 2 players, or can be game-mastered role-playing adventure for 3 or more. And that will be added as an add-on option. 70K, you'll get another die. So you end up, if it reaches 70K backing, you'll get 2 dice instead of 1, or none. Then at 75K, Necromancer. Fantasy game for 2 players. Each becomes a wizard controlling armies of the undead. So if 75K backer level is reached, Necromancer will be opened up as one of the available game titles and as an add-on. So you can either get it for your initial backer level, or if you've got 4 games, 5 games, whatever that you wanted, and then you really want those, but you want Necromancer, you can add it on, and I believe it'll be $20. They have a 500 Facebook share campaign going on for a post over on Facebook that every backer at the $20 reward level and higher will receive the Space Gamer number 30 in PDF form at no extra charge. The add-ons, 1 Pocket Box game, $20. 4 Pocket Box games, $75. 8, $140. Then you can also, for $10, get 2 empty pocket boxes. And they're big enough, you could probably put quite a few of your original pocket boxes in there if you have it. Convoy will be a printed book for $10. That will be included at no extra charge for those who back at $200, as will Uncle Al's 2035. His Auto Stop and Gunnery Shop. It's a printed book, a catalog of weapons and gear for the Car Wars game. Another $10 and no extra charge at the 200 level is the AADA Vehicle Guide. Ready to play Car Wars cars, cycles, and more. So, GPI has done this, and they have... Steve Jackson Game has thrown out a little shout out to them as well for if you'd like to publish pocket box games of your own design. They have partnered with GPI on the creation of the new pocket box molds that anyone may create a modern pocket box game. And if you're into that, you can contact GPI for a project quote and more information, and I will make sure to include the link to GPI and Steve Jackson Games, Warehouse 23, and this particular Kickstarter, among others. Then, the next Kickstarter that they are doing is Hexagram, the Fantasy Trip Hexagram, a retro-style collection of articles for and about the Fantasy Trip. And this came about because Kickstarter announced an initiative called Zine Quest, where they're inviting creators to launch projects for role-playing game magazines, zines, of 5.5 by 8-inch format or smaller, black and white interiors containing complete games, adventures, new rules, articles, comics, illustrations, bestiaries, or anything about role-playing games that you can stuff into a magazine. So Hexagram right now is going to be a Fantasy Trip themed retro style zine, and right now so far they have it will have including Snack Romancer by Guy McLemore, an extended adventure hook for use with the Fantasy Trip, and Overloading a Treasure Chest by Philip Reed, what goes into packing an 8-pound role-playing game boxed set, which I'm guessing is going to be an article about the Fantasy Trip Kickstarter and everything that goes into that monster of a box. Stretch goals, and they have funded on this, and I believe they're closing in on the first stretch. Actually, I take that back. I think they've already funded the first stretch goal of $1,500. So that will be 3 new treasure cards in PDF at the fantasytrip.game website. At $2,000, the game or the Hexagram magazine will be increased to 20 pages, and there are more coming up as far as stretch goals. In addition to all of that, on the Hexagram Kickstarter, the add-ons are pretty good. It's a whole slew of things like Death Test 2, Fantasy Trip Adventures, the gaming mats for Melee and Wizard, dice, the standalone games Melee and Wizard. You can even get yourself the Legacy Edition box set for In the Labyrinth. You can get the copy of the hardcover rule book for $35. The Fantasy Trip Companion, I believe that will be a soft cover, for $20. So, yet again, Steve Jackson Games is pumping out stuff that's making my wallet scream. I will get back to doing game videos in the near future, as I said. So until either Steve Jackson causes my wallet to cry some more, or I get the new computer, I will talk to you soon. Happy gaming.